Toss it down the block, for heaven's sakes. And we're ready to go. Let me put this out here for you. Did I lose one again? There. This is just delicious. You don't want vegetables that are run-of-the-mill. For heaven's sakes, serve them. The people you cook for, that's all you've got. Let's face it. Unless you don't like them, then I can't imagine what you're feeding them. I can't imagine it. All right, let's go on to another. Are you ready? We have 3 now, and we have some other good ones coming up. These are just great. Oh, I shouldn't do this. I shouldn't do this in front of you. I stole this dish from my wife, and I don't know where she got it. I think she took it out of Sunset Magazine. If you're not on the West Coast, you won't know what I'm talking about, but there's a magazine on the West Coast that has some of the best recipes I've ever seen. Subscribe to it. You can get it anywhere in the country. It's called Sunset, and it's just colossal. The best food section in any magazine I know of in the country, bar none. Excuse me, other publishers, but bar none. She stole this one out of their magazine years ago. She served it many times, and when I was going to do it on television, she was furious with me because then, of course, she wasn't going to be able to serve it at dinner again. It's so simple that it's absurd, and it's absolutely delicious. It is called spinach and artichoke casserole. Here's a casserole. I'm using a baking dish. You see, it's about, I don't know, what is that? That's about 8 inches wide by about 10 inches long, and I have one whole can of artichoke hearts that I've cut in half and placed in the bottom of an oiled casserole. On the top of that, I'm going to place 3 whole packages of frozen spinach, chopped, that I've drained and squeezed, from which I have squeezed the water. You must do that. Otherwise, it'll be just a big wet mess, which you do not need. All right? Now, we're going to make the topping, and this is the clincher. In my mixer here, I'm going to place 1/2 pound of, there it is, of cream cheese. Get this thing together so we can begin blending this. And then we're going to whip this up so that it's with a little bit of mayonnaise, about 2 tablespoons. And we need a bit of milk. How much? I don't remember. 6 tablespoons. What is 6 tablespoons, for heaven's sakes? There it is. 6 tablespoons of milk. There we go. We're going to add some pepper to that. Pour this over the top, and we'll have a marvelous dish. And that's the whole recipe, other than the cheese for the garnish on the top. In the dish now, you remember I have a can or a package. If you use frozen artichokes, then remember you have to cook them first. These have already been cooked, so I simply put them in the bottom of the casserole, put 3 packages of chopped spinach that I've drained over the top, and now I have a 1/2 pound of cream cheese, 1 package, an 8-ounce package, you see, a couple tablespoons of mayonnaise, 6 tablespoons of milk, and it's time now for the pepper. We'll just crank a little pepper in here. You always hear me say the same thing. Don't ever let someone else crack your pepper for you. For heaven's sakes. Don't do that. All right, whip that up. We'll spread that over the top now, and then the final touch is a bit of freshly grated Romano cheese, or perhaps Parmesan, whichever you prefer. I just love this kitchen machine. This is a KitchenAid. It's just a riot. It will do very near everything in your kitchen for you. Okay, here we go. Just smear this on the top. I know that this sounds bland, doesn't it? Frozen spinach, artichokes, cream cheese on the top. But wait till you taste it. Just want to smooth this all down. And we'll put on about 1/3 cup of freshly grated, preferably, of course, freshly grated Parmesan or Romano cheese. And do either one. I really don't care, and I'm not going to come to your house and check it up. I'm not going to check out on you at all. You'll just have to be trusted. This goes into a 375-degree oven, 40 minutes, something like that. And let me show you what you get. I just happen to have one. Yes, you're right. There. Potholder time. Here it is. Are you ready for this one? There. Look at that. Isn't that beautiful? It's very, well, let me show you. when you cut into this, you see, and find the right spoon, there we go. When you cut into this, you'll find a beautiful layer there of artichoke and spinach, and then this lovely cream filling on the top. It just makes a dinner party. You could serve them hamburgers along with this, for heaven's sakes, and they'd think it was really heaven. And that's right. That's what it should be. Okay, we have time for some more. Let's keep cooking. When I was in graduate school, my wife and I practically lived on this dish because it was fancy and inexpensive. It is a baked cauliflower. If you're a little kid and you just said yuck, you're in trouble. Give me a chance, will you? So you don't like cauliflower. This one you're going to like, because it's very good and it's very easy and it has some class. All right? And if you are a youngster, please pay close attention now. You must parboil, or boil ahead of time. Par means before, right? Parboil the vegetable before you cook it. That's going to help you get rid of the bitterness that you dislike in cauliflower. All right? Tell your mom. Tell your dad. Cook it yourself. Here's the cauliflower. Put it in a big pot of boiling water for about, boil it for about 10 or 15 minutes till it's barely tender when you poke it with a fork. All right? Now then, we're going to place this in a casserole. I have a little metal casserole, a little fat one here that will just hold it. Isn't that cute? And on the top of that, we're going to place some eggs. I want about 2 whipped eggs here. I thought we had a bowl of eggs somewhere in the front of me here. Don't know what did I do with them. Well, don't see them. All right. I always have eggs handy anyhow. 1. Yes, it was the sink. That's all right, for heaven's sakes. Now, we're going to pour this. As soon as I whip it up. There. Now we're going to pour this very carefully. Kind of smear it around. Use your fingers, I think, would be best, huh? There. What we want to do is to coat this cauliflower with the egg. All right? There. And then we're going to put some cheese on the top of that. I'm using a lot of cheese today, aren't I? Pepper and cheese. Okay. Pepper first, because the cheese will cover up the pepper, the little black spots, you see, make it nice and white again on top. We want the cheese to brown. Now, you see what I'm talking about? But we don't want the black spots. You can use white pepper, you know, there is such a thing. It's good, but it's a little more expensive, and I really don't mind little pepper flakes in my food. Need a lid. Into a 375-degree oven for 15, maybe 20 minutes, until it's brown on the top. Okay. And here's one that I've already prepared for you. Let's see. We're going to have a car collision, a big crash here with the carrot stick, so we have room. Okay. There we are. And there's one cauliflower baked with egg. Isn't that gorgeous? With egg and a little cheese on top. That's a good one. It really is. All right, are you game for one more? I don't know if I'm going to have time to finish this or not, but it's so good that at least I want to start it and show it to you, because it's weird. It's French beans with lettuce. Have you ever had fried lettuce? Works very, very well. In your casserole, we want to put an entire package of beans, but first we need some oil. Here we go. This is a sauteuse. It's a very deep-sided frying pan. This one holds about 3.5 quarts. But you see how heavy it is on the side? See? But you don't want to bother with this kind of thing. Then use a big black frying pan. It'll work just fine. Into that, we want to put a package of green beans cut julienne style. That's the long, skinny one, you see. Sometimes the package says French style. That's fine with me. Call it what you will. We'll saute those for a bit in about 1/2 cup of chicken broth. There we go. There we are. And while that's cooking, we'll put the lid on now and let that cook for a time. And while that's cooking, we're going to cut up a medium onion. What is a medium onion? It's smaller than a big one and bigger than a small one. Oh, I don't know what it is. Medium onion. That's probably enough. That's a large one. Let's use this half, huh? Put that into the pot. Just whack him up and let the onions and the beans saute for a time. This will not take long, But this will not be brought to, will not be completely finished by the time you and I have to part today. But I do want you to see the ingredients because it's fun. Then we want to add a bit of sugar, just a smidgen, 1/4 of a teaspoon perhaps. Okay? And it'll continue to let this cook. It'll probably take about 15 minutes before this is ready for the next step, which is a head of lettuce. Can you imagine? I'm going to core the lettuce. I think half a head will do us. At that point, we would add half a head of lettuce to the beans. Lettuce will cook down. Oh, yes, it'll cook down beautifully. Fried lettuce is terrific. Germans do that, too. And the Chinese, of course, have done it for a long time. Chinese will cook any kind of vegetable. You and I make nothing but salads with it, and they've tried lots of good things. Let's add the rest of the ingredients so you know what else goes in that, too. A bit of salt and pepper. There we go. And some pepper. And I still love dill with beans. So I want you to add a bit of dill weed and some thyme to make it taste very French, because the dish really is French. A little bit of dill. Basso. Just a pinch, you know, a tiny bit of flavoring. That's less than 1/4 teaspoon. All right, there it is. Now we'll let that saute, and we're going to have to serve it as if we have completed it. Now, once the lettuce cooks down, you're going to find a puddle of broth. Well, it's already forming. You see, the little broth that we have in there will be expanded by the liquid from the lettuce. So you're going to want to thicken that with a roux. And a roux, I've prepared one here, is simply a little bit of butter and flour cooked together until it's not quite colored. You see, just melt it for a few minutes, and that will thicken this beautifully. You just stir it in while it's on the stove, and it will not have any lumps that way. There, already, you see, this dish isn't even half done. And already it's delicious. Remember, don't put your head over a kettle. Two things are going to happen. One, you're going to get hair in the food. Blech. And two, you're going to burn yourself. So put your nose down by it and give it a smidgen that way, you see, and breathe it over to you. All right? And we'll add this one to our collection of vegetables, lettuce and beans. Marvelous things. That's what we're trying to celebrate today. Kind of non-seasonal things that you can enjoy all of the time. So I've cooked for you carrots and dill. And this dish is easy to do and very German. Then we have green beans with oregano, very Italian. Sautéed vegetables that we cooked ahead of time almost completely, but not quite. And then at the last minute, we threw them into a hot pan of garlic and olive oil and just a little bit of beef broth, remember, and then tossed them about. A baked casserole from my bride Patty of spinach and artichokes with a cheese topping, lettuce and beans with thyme and dill, and finally baked cauliflower from my old days at Drew in New Jersey. That's it. Eat the vegetables and, for heaven's sakes, enjoy yourself. That's the point. This is the Frugal Gourmet. Until I see you again, I bid you peace. Bye-bye.